What's going on? Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. U.S. government sued for allegedly seizing $100 million in cash, gold, and jewelry from citizens without explanation. The U.S. government won't specify why it abruptly seized more than $100 million from people's safety deposit boxes in California, according to a new lawsuit. The nonprofit Institute for Justice says it's seeking to halt forfeiture proceedings for a group of citizens who've had their assets confiscated by the FBI with little to no explanation. The case is centered on a Los Angeles-based couple who says the FBI abruptly seized $40,200 of their life savings from a safety deposit box. Linda and Reggie Martin want to know why the FBI took their cash along with the contents of hundreds of other people's safety deposit boxes from a financial storage company in Beverly Hills in March of 2021. The couple says the agency seized their money without providing any evidence of illegal activity. Attorney Bob Belden says the FBI's move is plainly immoral and violates the Martins' rights as American citizens. The government shouldn't get to take your property if it can't tell you what you did wrong. Using civil forfeiture, the government decides for itself whether to take and try to keep property, even when it doesn't suspect the owners of any crime. Then the FBI sends copy and paste forfeiture notices that fail to tell owners anything about why it is trying to take their property. That's not only wrong, it's unconstitutional. In total, the FBI's operation seized more than $100 million in cash, gold, jewelry, and other valuables from hundreds of people at the Beverly Hills location, according to the Institute for Justice. The agency sent blanket notices that indirectly refer to hundreds of federal crimes, but the government refuses to say what the couple specifically did wrong. The new lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia asked the court to halt administrative proceedings for everyone who has received one of the FBI's forfeiture notices. To date, Linda says she and her husband have not been charged with a crime, and there is no indication that they will ever see their money again. The FBI took my savings nearly 2 years ago, but has never told me why. It's been a confusing and frustrating process. From the day my money was taken, no one should have to go through this. Institute for Justice Senior Attorney Rob Frommer says civil and criminal forfeiture is a big moneymaker for federal law enforcement. Thousands of times every year, people receive paltry notices that merely say the government wants to forfeit their property because it might be wrapped up in one of hundreds of federal crimes. Linda's plight highlights the ugly truth that federal forfeiture incentivizes agents to seize as much as they can, even absent any reason to think that a crime was committed. The FBI's policing for profit deliberately leaves property owners in the dark in order to keep them from fighting back. According to the Institute, a federal judge has stated that a separate client involved in the same safety deposit seizure operation received an anemic forfeiture notice, and the FBI violated due process and the Fifth Amendment. And that's what they do. That's what they do. You know, this is what they do. This is what they continue to do. This is the government. This is what they do. Government comes up with ways to screw you. And it comes down to, well, are we going to get screwed less or we're going to get screwed more? Because that's all it is now. It's about who screws you the less that they put in office. And see, this is why I tell people we have to vote for the right people, you know, when it comes to not only the U.S. government, but also our local government. The U.S. government deals with like our monetization, like the Treasury. The U.S. Treasury deals with our monetary system, the way we get our money and all of that. They deal with the corporate structure of the world, of America. You know, that's all the U.S. is. The U.S. of A is. The U.S. is us, the United States, which is basically a bunch of states. And we mainly go by the state laws and everything, but federal laws and all that, government laws over how do you say it overrides those state laws. So they can make up something just to seize your money. They could have took their money to spend it on a case to try to get somebody thrown in jail, or to have a case where they have money coming in to help those that are lower than them. You know, that not lower than them, but basically they could use that money to surveillance people. They could use that money to give to their people, put in their pockets. The government always been doing this. They've done this all the time. It's the same with the IRS. The IRS comes after the little people, but the big time people, they rarely go after them. You know, they rarely go after them. That's why I said the government is full of crap. And if you're a person believing in just the government, thinking that, no, the people have got to get power back. So, you know, the problem is what we need to do is, and everything is, we need to come together as people. See, we're too divided. And especially the black community, we're very divided. But other races and everything, they're all together. They're coming together. They basically handle the laws, and they not the laws, but they handle their households correctly. They handle their community correctly. They their own police. And that's been the problem with us as blacks as well. But I know this may be diverting away from the main topic, but this just shows you, you know, and and this is what's done, and it's sad that they do this to people, and then they don't give them a reason why they did it. They're just, well, we're the government, now what? And this is what people need to fight for. These people have lost all their money out their life savings. 40,000 been taken from their life savings. So that's how it is. So that's just how it is and everything. You know, and they don't care. But see, this is the problem that the government has always had. They've always destroyed one group of people, and they big up another group of people. And then when that group of people wants to get together and go against what the norm is, they punish them. And they've done this to everybody. It's not just blacks. They've done this to whites, done this to everybody. They don't care. This is why I try to tell people the government don't give a damn about nobody. They don't give a damn about who who is who or what. If they could take from you, they're gonna find a way to take from you. That's why I tell people, like, look, they could come and take whatever from you, whatever they want. Don't matter what government you go to. Doesn't matter what country you move to. They still got their laws. They're gonna do what they do. And see, this is what I try to explain to people every day. We've got to wake up. And they're not. The government ain't shit. And this is what I try to tell people all the time. You can't always rely on the government to think the government has your best interest. The government don't give a shit about you. And you just seen it with these two people. They just took their money like that. And they've taken gold, cash, coins, everything worth up to $100 million. You understand what I'm saying? $100 million. 100 million. Now, to the next one. 450 billion to exit US banks as Treasury kicks off massive borrowing spree. Morgan Stanley. Analysts from Morgan Stanley expect nearly $500 billion to leave American banks when the US Treasury goes ahead with the plan to roll out a new batch of T-bills. Morgan Stanley is expecting $1.364 trillion of net T-bill issuance over the rest of this year, with $1 trillion of that to be issued over the next 4 months alone. This is reported by CNBC. The bank says that the new wave of U.S. bonds will likely put significant pressure on banks who can't compete with the government's offered yields, says analyst Betsy Grassick. Our fixed income team sees most of this initial Treasury general account restocking to come from bank reserves, suggesting 450 billion of gross outflows over the next 4 months. U.S. bank stocks have made a notable recovery since the pain felt earlier in the year when the industry weathered the collapse of several large institutions. According to Grassick, however, the recovery may be short-lived if banks now have to deal with the tidal wave of outflows. A re-acceleration of deposit outflows would end the current intra-quarter bank stock bounce. JP Morgan analysts made a similar call to Morgan Stanley's earlier this month, but forecasted a slightly lower number of $1.1 trillion in T-bill issuance over the rest of 2023. Gennady Goldberg, a strategist at TD Securities, also recently said everyone knows the flood is coming. Yields will move higher because of this flood. Treasury bills will cheapen further, and that will put pressure on banks. The rise in yields could force banks to raise their deposit rates. In a recent research note, Morgan Stanley said that despite the U.S. government's deals to raise the debt ceiling and the stabilization in markets that followed, more volatility could be on its way. The analyst referenced 2011 when markets heavily corrected shortly after the government came to a resolution on the debt ceiling crisis. Against this backdrop, the relative calm that pervades markets may not be sustainable. Volatility in equity rates and credit markets appear relatively contained and well below March levels. However, looking back to 2011, markets were also calm before the X date, but subsequently registered sharp moves. In the 3 weeks after the resolution, the S&P 500 fell by more than 12%. 10-year Treasury yields declined by 70 basis points, meaning prices for those securities went up, and high-yield bond index spreads widened by more than 160 basis points. So you see that because of all this inflation, all of this, this interest, the interest is going up high. That's what's killing people, is they have raised the inflation and the interest. And it's killing what's going on. And see, the banks, that was the biggest problem when we bailed them out. We should have let the banks fall. And then we could have found a way to save our money more. But hey, some people needed the banks. So, the U.S. Treasury and all of that stuff, America's broke, guys. They're in debt. That's why you have a lot of these other countries like China and everybody, why we bend over to them and bow down to them. We have a strong military, but that's it. But that's it. So, you have the treasury and all of that, in trouble with the money. But America's been broke for a long time, guys. We've been in debt. This is why we bend over the countries. Yeah, we got a strong military, but we don't have a strong system. Our system is terrible. The schooling is terrible. What they're doing is the government and all of them are keeping the money and they're taxing us higher. So that's just how it goes. You see, with the structure of how it is, this is why a lot of businesses don't make it. So, that's just how it is. And they're so focused on a damn flag and on people's gender that we've lost on how to keep the structure of our businesses up, how to keep the foundation up. That structure has been taken away from us. And this is what America has lacked. They got too greedy. They moved their businesses away. The infrastructure suffered. We're nothing but a distribution hub. That's all we are. That's why you mainly see distribution places like distribution centers open. So that's just the way it is. And because of that, you got bills getting higher. Everything is going up high. And then plus, when you're beefing with people who control your oil, control the oil that you get, that's what happens. And that's what I'm saying. People don't understand there's other things that happen. You have to look at the big picture. So that's just the way it goes. The people in power got so greedy and they kept the money away. They taking the money and they fall in debt. They think taxing the people is going to help. Now they've taken away jobs. So now that you've taken away jobs, how are you going to keep the infrastructure up? Oh, I know how we're going to do it. We're going to create AI. We're going to create AI and we're going to create robots. Yeah, that's really going to help everything. I think when you watch Terminator and all these other movies, it shows you that shit don't work. But hey, leave it to the idiots, right? They know more than us. Now, Flare Network launches monthly token airdrop as FLR price craters amid bearish crypto market movement. Layer 1 blockchain project Flare Network, which is the FLR, has launched its fourth monthly community airdrop for token holders. According to the project's website, Flare's monthly drops can be claimed by all wrapped FLR holders, which is WFLR. WFLR holders must have held the wrap token for 23 days before each claim date to be eligible to claim a portion of that month's Flare drop, according to the post. The Flare team chooses. Hold on. What's going on? Hold on, guys. My fault. Okay, here we go. Tripping. The Flair team chooses 3 random blocks during that 23-day period to calculate the average holdings of all wallets. For the June airdrop, the team calculated that 6,120,632,297 double FLR is eligible for the drop. The drop's distribution ratio is 11.0505 FLR for every 100 WFLR held, according to Flair. Okay. Now, Flair Network, with its native FLR token, aims to essentially bring smart contract capabilities to various blockchain networks, starting with XRP and later Litecoin, LTC. FLR was first distributed to XRP holders in January based on snapshot of the XRP ledger, XRPL, taken in late 2020. The 117th ranked token by market cap is trading at 0.0144 cents at time of writing. FLR has plummeted by more than 90% from its all-time high of 0.150073, which is set on January 10th. The day after its initial airdrop, the token is also down more than 20% in just the past 7 days. I'm not a pro with crypto, but I just know is that crypto is very hard to get a grasp on. Because you're going to lose something. No matter how much you put something into something, you're going to end up losing something at times. So with crypto, I believe, not a pro on it. Don't quote me. I don't need no donations for crypto, please. I don't know that much about it. Do your research about it. I just know from dealing with people is that crypto is like, it's very tricky because one day you'll be up and the next day you'll be down. You done lost money. One day you'll make money, next day you lose money. That's how it goes. But crypto, they're having a problem with, they have a problem with having a cap on it. See, they're trying to find a way how to distribute it. If they can find a way how to distribute it, then they'll go with crypto. But it's too hard to figure out. And then everybody done had it. Everybody who has it, everybody who's had it and everything, it's like, it's good and it's bad. You got to really pay attention to it. You got to really be on it. But that's my take on everything. Let me know what you guys think about it. Just talking about a little business and economics going on out there in the world. Let me know if you guys felt it. Tell me what your thoughts are on it from the discussions I talked about. Tell me what you feel about it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit that notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you guys love what you hear, you could donate to the page by going to the description box, hitting that link to my Cash App, where you could donate whatever your heart's desire. If you don't have Cash Back, if you don't have Cash App, you can go to Zelle. My name is in the description box. You can find me there. You guys can also super chat when the video is live or premieres. If you didn't make the video on time, you can leave a super thanks. And guys, if you still want to get into the fantasy football league, please let me know. Like I said, you got to donate $20. Let me know. Thank y'all for listening, man. We are out. Deezy.